Alex sat on the edge of the old wooden bench in the small-town park. The summer sun had begun to sink, painting the sky in pale orange and soft pink. A gentle breeze stirred the leaves overhead, yet Alex felt only heavy sadness. Just a few months ago, Sam had lived here too. They had run together on these paths. They had laughed at squirrels scurrying across the grass. They had shared dreams under the same sky. Now Sam lived far away in a city Alex had only seen on a map. Every evening, Alex returned to this bench. It was where their friendship had felt strongest. It was where Sam had promised, "No matter where I go, we will stay close." Alex had nodded and smiled. But when the moving van came, the smile had felt forced. Now Alex wondered if that promise had been real. At first, Alex tried to keep in touch. Letters came in the mailbox once a week. Sam's handwriting was neat and bright, full of small drawings at the corners of each page. Alex read each letter carefully.
Okay.
Each letter ended with, "Write soon." But after a while, the letters slowed. Alex's own pages stayed blank. Alex stared at blank paper late at night. Fingers hovered over a pen. Words danced just out of reach. How could Alex fill those pages when the pen trembled so much? Alex tried the phone next. One evening, Alex dialed Sam's number. The line rang and rang. Finally, a voice answered, a distant voice with a busy tone. "Hi, Sam," Alex asked, heart racing. "It's Alex." There was a pause.
Ow!
Then Sam said quietly, "Oh, Alex, I'm sorry I missed your call." The words were polite but far away. In that moment, Alex felt a sharp tug at the heart. It was as if Sam had grown and Alex had stayed the same. After that night, Alex stopped calling. Every time the phone lay silent on the desk, Alex felt guilty. Alex thought, maybe Sam doesn't want to hear from me. And the guilt grew heavy like a stone in the chest. One warm afternoon, Alex wandered through the park again. A group of children chased bubbles near the fountain. Their laughter rang like music. Alex watched a bubble catch the light and float upward before it popped. Alex felt a sudden spark of longing. Alex whispered to the disappearing bubble, "I miss you, Sam." It felt strange to talk to an empty air. Then Alex realized something. The bubble had not carried the words only once. The park had heard them too. The breeze felt like a friend. Hope stirred inside Alex. It was a quiet, gentle feeling like the first star appearing at dusk. Alex recognized it. Even after time and distance, humans have a special strength. The same strength that built bridges and rockets and songs. The same strength that makes friends find each other again. That evening, Alex went home and found a stack of unused stationery. The paper was plain but smooth. Alex took a deep breath, opened a window to let the breeze in, and picked a pen first. Alex wrote, "Dear Sam, I am sorry I have not written sooner. I miss our talks and our walks in the park. I want to know how you are, and I want to share how I feel. When you moved, I was afraid our friendship would change. But I have learned that true friendship can grow in many places." The words came more easily after the first few lines. Alex wrote about the butterflies in the garden, and how they reminded Alex of Sam's bright laugh. Alex wrote about the new song learned on the guitar, and how it felt lonely without Sam's voice beside it. Alex wrote until the ink ran low. Alex folded the letter carefully and slipped it into an envelope. On the front, Alex wrote in bold letters, "To Sam, my old friend." Then Alex sealed it with a small smile. The next morning, Alex walked to the little post office. The mail slot felt cool under Alex's fingers. Alex slipped the letter inside and watched it disappear. Alex thought of the hot city lights where Sam now lived. The letter would travel all the way there and land in Sam's hands. Alex walked back through the park bench, chest lighter than it had been in months. Sam might be busy. Sam might feel different. But Alex believed in human courage and kindness. Alex believed in friendship. As the wind rustled the leaves above, Alex whispered, "This time, I will not give up." Even if the reply took weeks or months, Alex was ready. Because humans have a way of reaching across any distance. Hope lives strongest in open hearts. The next day, Emma woke to a quiet house. Sunlight slipped through the curtains, but it felt colder without Jonah's laughter. She sat on the edge of her bed and hugged her knees, remembering how Jonah used to play their old piano each morning. The music had filled every corner of her home, lifting her spirits. Now, the piano stood silent, its keys dusty and unused. Emma missed those mornings more than she had expected. She pushed herself up and walked to the living room. The piano's black surface caught the light, and Emma ran her fingers over the keys. They felt familiar and smooth, but she pressed only one note, a low C, dull and hollow. A memory bloomed. Jonah's grin as his fingers danced over the keys, the room humming with melody. Emma's chest tightened with sadness, wondered if Jonah still played this music somewhere far away. Emma picked up her phone and scrolled through old photos. There were pictures of her and Jonah sitting side by side at that very piano. In one image, Emma closed her eyes as Jonah played a soft waltz he had composed for her birthday. He had whispered, "This is our song." Emma smiled at the memory, but felt a sting of regret. She had let her fear of change keep her from learning the song herself. She decided she would try. Emma opened a music book and flipped to the waltz's page. The notes looked like a foreign language, neat rows of black, dots and lines. Her heart pounded. She tapped the first measure slowly, left hand, right hand each note trembling like a newborn bird. By the fifth measure, her fingers tangled, and she stopped. Tears welled in her eyes. "I can't do this," she whispered. But then she remembered Jonah's last letter. It said, "I know this waltz is hard, but I believe in you. Keep trying." Emma. The words glowed inside her. Emma wiped her tears, placed her fingers back on the keys, and tried again. This time, she practiced each measure until her hands remembered their places. The notes still sounded rough, but Emma felt a spark of pride. She was learning something new, just as Jonah had urged. Night came, and Emma closed the piano. She looked at the dark keys and smiled. Tomorrow she would practice more. Maybe the small steps of her fingers would build a bridge back to Jonah's heart. She held on to that thought as she climbed into bed, tucking a thin smile into the corners of her mouth. The next morning, Emma woke before dawn. A soft orange glow crept beneath her curtains. She tiptoed to the piano and played the first 8 measures of the waltz, slow and careful. Each note rang clearer than before. With every attempt, the melody grew stronger in her mind, in her home. The old bench at the piano squeaked under her as she swayed gently to the rhythm, imagining Jonah sitting beside her. By mid-afternoon, Emma paused to rest. She sank onto the sofa and opened her laptop. She searched for a small online music community, people who shared songs and lessons. She found a thread about learning waltzes and read stories of beginners who found joy in every mistake. Their kind messages gave her courage. She posted, "I am learning my friend's waltz. It is hard, but I want to play it well for him." Replies streamed in. "Keep going. You'll make him proud." Emma felt warmth in her chest. Humans had a way of helping each other, even through screens and miles. Hope fluttered like a bird inside her. She wrote back to the community, "Thank you. I will practice every day." That evening, Emma composed a short video of her practicing the waltz's first part. Her fingers were still shy, but she played each measure with care. She uploaded the clip and sent the link to Jonah with a simple message, "I'm learning. Our song, I miss you." After she clicked send, Emma waited in silence. The piano's echo seemed to fill the room with possibility. Minutes ticked by, but Emma did not mind. She closed her eyes and listened to her own heartbeat. It was calm, steady, and hopeful. Across the miles, Jonah saw her video, watched Emma's hands move over the keys, imperfect but determined. His chest warmed and his eyes misted with emotion. In his quiet apartment, he whispered, "She's doing it." He opened his own piano cover and touched the keys, feeling closer to Emma than he had in months. Even though they were apart, the same melody now linked their hearts. Emma had reached out with her courage and hope, and Jonah reached back with his own song. Somewhere between those two pianos, their friendship began to sing again. Lily stood at the garden gate, watching the morning light warm the rows of tomato plants. Every summer, she and Mara had planted seeds together here, laughing as they buried tiny roots in the soil.
Oh.
Now, Mara lived across the country, and Lily felt the garden was missing its other half. The earth smelled sweet with promise, but Lily felt only a hollow ache inside. Each day, Lily tended the plants alone. She watered carefully, pulling weeds and whispering to the seedlings. She remembered how Mara had taught her to sing softly to the growing vines. Lily hummed their old song now, though her voice quivered with loss. The garden still grew tall and green, but without Mara's gentle hands beside her. Lily felt empty. One afternoon, Lily found a small notebook in the shed. It was Mara's the journal where they had sketched future plans and garden designs. The pages were filled with Mara's neat handwriting and little drawings of sunflowers and bluebells. Lily traced a finger over the paper, feeling a rush of both sadness and warmth. She realized that these plans were still alive, waiting to bloom. That evening, Lily sat by her kitchen table with the notebook open. Outside, the fireflies flickered among the fence posts. Lily wrote a letter to Mara on plain cream-colored paper. "Dear Mara," she began, "I planted our sunflower seeds today. They are small now, but I believe they will grow tall. I miss you every day." Her pen paused as tears blurred the ink, but Lily kept writing, pouring her hope onto the page. After sealing the envelope, Lily went online to find a small gift shop. She ordered a packet of marigold seeds, Mara's favorite, and added a handwritten note. "Plant these beside the sunflowers." Lily imagined Mara digging in her own garden, planting flowers that would reach for the sun together. The thought lifted Lily's spirit, reminding her that distance could not stop two hearts from growing side by side. The next morning, Lily tied a ribbon around the notebook and slipped in the envelope. She walked to the mailbox at the end of her street, the ribbon trailing like a stream of color behind her. As she dropped everything in, she whispered a wish. "May these seeds bring us closer." The mailbox clanged shut with a friendly echo, as if sharing her hope. Back home, Lily returned to her garden. She knelt in the dirt and dug a small hole for the sunflower seed. She whispered to it, "Grow strong, like our friendship." She planted the marigold seed too, even though it would not arrive until later. In her mind, she saw the two flowers standing together under a bright sky, just as she and Mara had once been. Weeks passed. Lily watered each day, watching tiny green shoots push through the soil. She took photos of the new leaves and sent them to Mara in a short message. "See our sunflowers?" Each morning, Lily looked for a reply. Sometimes the days went by in silence, but Lily reminded herself that seeds take time to sprout. She had faith in the unseen work happening underground. One warm afternoon, Lily heard the familiar chime of her inbox. Mara's reply glowed on the screen. "I got your letter and the seeds. I planted mine today. Let's watch them grow together." Lily's heart leaped as she read the words. Her eyes shone with happy tears. Even miles apart, their gardens were linked by careful hands and patient hope. Lily walked back into the garden, feeling stronger than before. She knelt beside the young plants and touched the soft leaves. "We'll grow together," she said, voice steady. The sun warmed her face, and for the first time in months, Lily felt truly connected. As evening fell, Lily stood at the gate once more, looking at the row of green sprouts. She realized that caring for these plants was like caring for her friendship with kindness, effort, and hope. No matter the distance, humans have a way of nurturing what they love. And in that truth, Lily found her courage to believe that someday, she and Mara would stand together here again, surrounded by blooming flowers and shared memories. Marco stood at the beginning of the old forest trail. Dew sparkled on the leaves and morning light filtered through the branches. He closed his eyes and remembered how Alina had walked here too. They had shared this path for hours, talking about life and dreams. Now, Alina lived far away, and Marco felt the forest was missing her laughter. He stepped forward with a heavy heart. As he walked, Marco noticed the small wooden signs they had nailed together years ago. One read "Friendship Peak to 2 miles," and another said "Quiet Creek." When Alina moved, Marco left the signs in place, hoping they would remind him of their promise, "We will come back someday." Today, the signs looked worn by wind and rain. Marco touched the peeling paint and felt a pinch of sorrow. At Quiet Creek, Marco paused. The water ran clear and cold over smooth stones. He knelt and scooped up a handful in his palm. The cold slipped through his skin. He remembered how Alina and he had dipped their tired feet here, laughing at the tickle of tiny fish. Marco whispered to the creek, "I miss you, Alina." The creek babbled back, soft and gentle, as if it understood his wish. Marco took out his phone and opened the hiking app they once used together. He searched for their old photos of this trail. There were pictures of his muddy boots and Elena's bright red hat. He tapped on one where they stood at the 2-mile sign, arms around each other. Marco studied Elena's smile, looked the same, warm and open. His chest ached with longing and hope. He thought about sending her a message. "I'm here, thinking of you." But his fingers hovered over the screen. What if she was too busy? What if she had forgotten this place? Doubt settled like mist around him. Marco closed the app and slipped the phone back into his pocket. He decided to keep going without it. Higher on the trail, the trees grew taller and the path narrower. Marco felt his legs burn with effort, but he also felt something strong inside him, something that reminded him of all the times he and Alina had pushed each other to try harder. This was human strength, the courage to climb, to grow, and to reach new heights, even when alone. When Marco reached Friendship Peak, clouds curled around the mountaintop like soft sheets. He sat on a flat rock and looked out over valleys and ridges. The view was both familiar and new. The wind whispered through the pines, and Marco felt a sudden spark of clarity. Distance could not erase the bond they had formed here. If he wanted to reconnect, he would have to reach out, just as he had climbed to this peak. Marco opened his phone again. His heart pounded as he typed, "Hi, Alina. I'm at Friendship Peak, our trail. I miss our hikes. Would you like to plan a walk together, even if it's over a video call? I would love to see you again." He paused before sending, his fingers shaking. Then he pressed send. Instantly, the app showed the messages delivered. He slipped the phone back into his pocket and turned to face the sky. A break in the clouds let a sunbeam fall on the peak. For the first time in weeks, Marco felt light. The trail had carried him to this moment of hope. He knew Alina might answer later, or she might answer soon. But he had taken the step that mattered. On the hike down, Marco hummed their favorite song. Each footstep was steadier than before. The forest seemed to echo his tune, guiding him home. Wherever Alina was, she would hear his message. Because humans have a way of finding each other again through shared paths, memories, and the courage to speak their hearts. And as Marco reached the trailhead, he felt sure that their friendship, like the mountains, would stand firm against any distance. The peak had shown him that hope lives in every climb, in every message sent, and in every heart brave enough to try again. Maya stood on the rocky shore at dusk. The wind tugged at her hair, and the waves whispered against the stones. She looked across the wide bay, where the lighthouse rose tall against the sky. Every night, she climbed the cliff path to light the lamp there. It was her way of remembering Aaron, who had moved away 2 years ago. Aaron had been Maya's closest friend. They grew up together in the village beside the sea. He taught her to fish from the rocks. She taught him to paint seabirds in flight. When he left for the city, Maya felt lost. The lighthouse was the one thing they both loved, so she decided to keep its light alive for him. Tonight, Maya carried a small lantern of her own. Inside, she placed a paper boat with Aaron's name on it. She climbed the narrow stairs of the lighthouse until she reached the top. The lamp's glass panels glowed with warm light. Maya opened a window and held her lantern out over the bay. She whispered, "This light is for you, Aaron." Then she let the paper boat float on the water below. The lantern swung gently in her hand, and its soft glow danced on the waves. For a moment, Maya felt Aaron's presence in the sea breeze. Then the lantern's light slipped away, and she was alone again. Maya leaned against the railing, her heart heavy. What good was a light if no one saw it? She closed her eyes and remembered how Aaron used to smile when she painted birds. She missed his laughter, his easy words of comfort. She wished she could speak to him, but she did not know how to begin. Below, the village lights came on. Few fishermen waved as they passed under the lighthouse. Maya waved back. She thought, humans have a special strength. We can share hope even when we are apart. And so she made her choice. She took out her phone and opened an art app. With steady fingers, she drew a simple picture. A lighthouse on a cliff, its beam reaching out over the sea. In the corner, she sketched two small figures, one standing. At the top, one waiting far away. She saved the image and sent it to Aaron with a short message. I light the lighthouse for you every night. I miss you. When she hit send, Maya felt both fear and excitement. What if Aaron did not reply? What if he'd forgotten her? Her heart beat fast. She watched the message turn blue on the screen. Then she climbed down the stairs and walked the dark path home. That night, Maya could hardly sleep. She imagined the beam of the lighthouse stretching across the black water, reaching into the city where Aaron lived. As she thought of the light, guiding ships safely through fog, could it guide him back to her? The next morning, Maya came to the shore again at sunrise. She opened her phone. There was a new message from Aaron. I saw your drawing. I never knew you lit the lighthouse for me. It means so much. I miss you too. Maya's eyes filled with tears of joy. She ran her finger over his words. Aaron wrote more. I will. Visit soon. Till then, I will light a lantern in my apartment window facing the sea. Your light will reach me, and my light will reach you. Maya smiled so wide her cheeks hurt. She felt hope swell inside her, warm like the morning sun. That evening, Maya climbed to the top of the lighthouse again. She held her lantern out as she did before, crossed the bay in a dim window high above the city streets. She saw a faint glow. It was Aaron's lantern, small but brave in the growing darkness. Maya waved and called softly into the wind. I see you. The breeze carried her words across the water. Aaron, at his window, waved back and whispered, I see you. Too. In that moment, Maya knew that distance could not break their bond. Humans have a way of creating light in the darkest places, of sending hope across any distance. And as two lanterns shone across the bay, Maya and Aaron felt closer than they had in years. Evan stood in his small kitchen early on a Saturday morning. He looked at the wooden cutting board where he and Nina used to chop vegetables together. Nina had moved across the ocean last year, and the kitchen felt empty without her bright laughter. Today, Evan felt a deep sadness. He missed her more than ever, but he did not know how to reach her. He opened an old notebook on the counter. It was Nina's recipe book. On the first page, in her neat handwriting, were the words, Nina's special stew. They had cooked this dish on many rainy afternoons, sharing stories and dreams. Evan flipped the pages and felt a warm memory of Nina's gentle voice reading the ingredients. Carrots, potatoes, tomatoes, and secret spices they had collected on their travels. Evan sighed and took a deep breath, decided he would cook the stew today, just as they had done together. It would be his way of sending a message of hope. Humans have a way of keeping memories alive through shared meals, and Evan believed this could reconnect him to Nina. He washed the vegetables carefully, just like Nina had taught him. Each slice of carrot felt familiar under his knife. He remembered Nina's soft hum while she stirred the pot. Evan hummed the same tune now, though his voice trembled. Sizzled in the pan, and the kitchen slowly filled with the warm smell of garlic and herbs. With each stir, Evan felt a spark of courage. When the stew was nearly done, Evan set the table for two. He placed 2 bowls, 2 spoons, and folded 2 napkins. His heart ached at the empty second place, but he knew it held hope. Snapped a photo of the steaming bowls side by side and opened his laptop. He logged into the video service they used. His fingers hovered over the screen. What if Nina was busy? What if she had found new friends and forgotten him? The doubts crept in, but Evan pushed them away. He clicked record and held up the camera to show the 2 bowls. Hi, Nina, Evan said with a small smile. I made our special stew today. It smells just like the days we cooked together. I miss you. I wish you could join me. I hope you are well. He placed the camera near the bowls, so it captured the steam rising like morning mist. Then he said, I'd love to share this with you, even if it's through the screen. He stopped the recording, attached the video to an email, and typed a short message from my kitchen to yours. Let's cook together again. He pressed send and watched the email fade into the outbox. Evan closed his eyes and imagined Nina watching. He believed that the human spirit, with kindness and creativity, could bridge any distance. While he waited, Evan tasted a spoonful of the stew. It was savory and rich, full of all the warmth they had poured into it. He ate slowly, savoring each bite as a memory of their friendship. The kitchen did not feel so empty now. The scent of the stew seemed to whisper of new possibilities. Late that afternoon, Evan heard the soft chime of his computer. Nina's reply had arrived. He opened the email and saw her smiling face on the video she sent back. She stood in her own kitchen, holding up 2 bowls of stew that looked just like his. "Evan," she said in the video, "this is perfect. I was just cooking the same stew for my new friends and I thought of you. I miss you too. Let's have a virtual dinner tonight." Evan's heart leaped. He typed back quickly, "Yes, tonight at 7 your time. I can't wait." He pressed send and felt a surge of joy. Even though Nina was far away, they would share a meal together again. That evening, Evan set his laptop on the kitchen table between the 2 bowls. He lit a small candle. At 7 o'clock, Nina appeared on the screen, her own candle glowing beside her bowls. They raised their spoons in a silent toast, then began to eat together, laughing at a funny memory Evan had just recalled. As they enjoyed the stew, Evan realized that hope lives in simple acts: cooking, sharing, and caring. Humans have a way of using everyday things like a recipe to reach across oceans and bring hearts closer. And in that soft light between 2 kitchens, Evan and Nina found their friendship renewed. Jake climbed the small hill behind his home just after sunset. The sky was dark blue, sprinkled with silver dots. He carried an old telescope that he and Lucy had used together in the backyard. Now the telescope felt heavy in his hands, like a memory he could not hold. He wished Lucy were here beside him, pointing out Orion's belt and the Big Dipper. His heart ached with distance. She had moved to a new country, so far away that even phone calls felt small. They had shared starry nights every summer. Lucy taught Jake how to read the constellations. She showed him how stars form pictures in the sky, heroes, animals, and great journeys. Jake loved the stories she told, and they wrote names on a paper star map. The map hung on his bedroom wall. He still had it there, but it felt lonely without Lucy's handwriting next to his own. Jake set the telescope on its tripod. The metal felt cold under his fingers. Dust covered the lens, and leaves had gathered in the tripod legs. He knelt and blew on the lens gently, then wiped it clean with an old cloth. His breath came in clouds of cold air. He adjusted the tripod so the telescope stood straight. He remembered how Lucy laughed when the tripod legs slipped on a wet night, and how they both fell backwards into the grass, staring at the sky through giggles. When the telescope was ready, Jake looked through it at the moon. He saw craters and shadows in clear relief. He turned a small knob and found Betelgeuse glowing, red in Orion's shoulder, his chest filled with warmth. This was their star. He reached for his phone and snapped a photo through the eyepiece. The picture showed a bright dot against velvet black. But as he held the phone, his fingers trembled. He wondered if he should send it. What if Lucy did not care? What if she had found new stars to love? Jake closed his eyes and thought of Lucy's last message. She had written, "Keep looking up, Jake. I will look up too." His heart lifted. Humans have a way of sharing wonder, even when they are apart. With that thought, he opened a simple star up on his phone. He marked the position of Betelgeuse and drew a small heart next to it. Then he wrote a note, "For Lucy, our star, I miss you." He attached the photo of the red star and pressed send. The message floated away into the night. He waited under the sky, listening to crickets and the soft rustle of wind in the grass. He breathed in the cool air and felt time stretch between Earth and the stars. A few minutes later, his phone buzzed. Lucy had replied. He read her words. "I see it. Betelgeuse is my favorite star now. Tonight I will find it from my hill." She sent a photo of the same red dot in her sky. On her screen, The stars shone just as bright. Jake smiled wider than he had in weeks. He lifted his gaze back to the sky. The red star shone above him exactly where Lucy saw it too. In that moment, he knew that distance was only a number. People, 2 telescopes, 1 sky shared by all humans. He typed another message. Let's meet under the stars at the same time. I will be here at 9 p.m. your time. Lucy's quick reply glowed on the screen. Yes, I'll be there. Can't. Wait. Jake felt a surge of hope. He adjusted the telescope once more and waited. Cool air brushed his face, and the stars above seemed to pulse with light. He imagined Lucy doing the same, her eyes shining with wonder. Tonight, they would share the sky again. No matter how far they were, the stars would hold their friendship. In their bright, ancient light, as Jake watched Betelgeuse glow, he whispered to the night, I see you, Lucy. And far away under the same sky, Lucy whispered back, I see you too.